Greetings and blessings, my friend. We're meeting on a special occasion of presenting to you the experience of the Cellwell. It's how do I begin? And I want to keep this short. I'll keep it simple so the computational process is narrowed down to seconds for you to snap in gear of what is meant. We're thinking of a better world, a better place. We're looking at a story that I have to share with you. The Teslas, the Einsteins, but let's go to the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers invented the first propelled motorized airplane. The Wright brothers studied a person that came before them that has built a paper plane and jumped off a hill. His name was Otto Lilienthal. This guy was laughed at, trying to mimic birds, trying to fly, trying to do the mere impossible. So the Wright brothers had the idea of rebuilding the construct, which was also devised by Da Vinci, also laughed at, not taken serious. So here's the level of consciousness that we're dealing with as starseeds. Having the awareness that you are not from here. So if science shows you that your DNA is 9 billion years old and Earth is roughly 4.5 billion years old, that means the human genome, as in your DNA, is older than this planet. The rest is put together where you're from. Put together where your origin is from. Past Anunnaki, past gods, past myth, go way back where you don't have any names anymore because there's no more memory to go there. So the Wright brothers were told by the faculties of science that ruled that a plane heavier than air, propelled by a motor, will never fly, ever. As the status quo of those faculties of that science demanded it, that law of physics as they knew it back then forbids it. So the Wright brothers went to France, found investors, built a plane, and it flew. Today, air traffic is a common theme. We're used to it. We're not rebelling. We're not trying to make it ridiculous. And the old pattern of the human race is make an idea ridiculous, rebel against it, 50 to 100 years, and you accept it. The electric car, over 150 years ago, built by Nikola Tesla, not taken serious. Now we're having cars that we're calling Tesla in his honor. We're a little late, don't you think? But now it's always time to catch up and get in gear. So I'm presenting to you something that has to do with an apple in your kitchen. After 4 days will begin to decay. Nobody ever wonders why that is. Why is decay so accelerated in the big cities, but not in nature? An apple in a root cellar, 12-month, pristine condition, you can still eat it. Why is that? That has to do with bioresonance. Make guacamole, do it at home. And take the seed of the avocado and leave the seed in the guacamole dish. Make another guacamole dish and put it in another room and watch one decay and the other one maintaining. Why is that? The one with the seed is in bioresonance, and this is what this system presents. Bioresonance has as an effect of intracellular modulation or photonic cell sequencing, as in better communication of the household within the human vessel. Science has proven that. Sunlight is good for the cells. Now corrected and increased sunlight, even better. The experience, phenomenal. From, when in nature, inflammation is reduced, things disappear, wellness can occur, and you can actually function properly. So if you see this body as a faculty, as in these are billions of cells governed by consciousness, all in communication. We call it intracellular communication. Cells in communications with cells. Very simple. When the cells communicate properly, about 100,000 biochemical impulses occur. That means the communication is correct. So when radio 1 and radio 2 communicates, they are in pristine condition. When we have something coming in that is called a dis, and another word, ease, it's when these stations, as in millions of stations, beginning to not communicate properly anymore. And the highest information and the fastest information is, you can say the speed of thought, but let's say the speed of light, photons, the messenger molecule, a photon. And when a photon communicates properly, it translates into the 7 rays of existence. Hence this planet, a light beam turns into this rainbow ray. That is a correct translation of the information. Call it intracellular modulation, a new word that will come up that science has yet to investigate and will learn in some time: intrascalar communication. The pyramids do it, the Well of Lourdes in France does it, Lourdes, Niagara Falls, canyons of Sedona, Hawaii, many places that are in phase conjugate, meaning are in harmony or in resonance with the earth. And that includes Schumann resonance, magnetic correlations, you and the planet, how life is designed, like an astronaut ventures too far off from Earth, you dissolve because your body is designed to be here in and around that frequency of life. Life affirming. Then there's other things when people walk into paranormal fields, they have contact with ships, other dimensional beings, get translated transmissions in their head on all types of levels. So here's the take. When wellness occurs and the wellness is complete, then the meta and the physics begin. It is of utmost importance of what I've learned from my oversoul and the council, that you get the base in order, get this vessel in order. And when that vessel functions properly, then the miraculous things can take place. Then we can talk about wellness, vitality, health, mobility, flexibility, manifestation in purpose. Now knowing the difference between free will and divine will. Divine will is what is actually being portrayed here as what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to respond? So I'm introducing to you something. Let's say if I was an extraterrestrial, I would say it's very difficult to introduce something of consciousness and sentient or origin to the human race if the human race has issues accepting that. Superluminous technology, sentient technology doesn't require electricity, doesn't require anything that consumes. There's an ancient saying, the flame that does not consume is the blue flame. That's where the original energy and energy properties for the new earth are coming from, and will be a zero field of a scalar field that's being produced like a natural field where all types of wellness can occur and recalibration within the vessel can occur, so we are better. So the experience for those who are open to a fifth dimensional template that is already here of things changing, reoccurring, whatever readings you have from whatever faculties you get them, looking at whatever you're looking at concerning the vessel, are changing for the better. And that's when we are making progress in the most miraculous ways. And I have a few people that can actually share with you what they have experienced with what we have constructed. Many talked about it. Many gave it different names. This is called the Cellwell. This is about the wellness and the consciousness of the cell within the human body. And this goes deep, and this is infinite. It runs efficient into a long stream of unfoldings that you are now about to witness. So have an open heart and an open mind to receive what is being offered. And it is so hard to bring it in. We're doing it ourselves. You can't come in there with how people think they can get a piece, or this is the new revolution and I want a piece. Doesn't work. The well, as in the oracle or the channeler, has to be in divine purpose, remain pure and undiluted and untouched by those actions or interactions. Presenting to you my pride and joy in the biggest invention yet, the Cellwell.
Hey there, beautiful souls. So I'm Jerry Sargent, the founder of Star Magic Healing, and I've come here today. I'm in Sedona. I've been running and training, and I've come to Arcturian's home, and I've experienced their Cellwell bed, and it was awesome. I've just come out of it, so I'm a little bit kind of, I'm not 100% here. As soon as I got into the bed, I was in there for an hour. And as soon as I got in, I could feel the bed scanning my physical body. It scanned my light body on a number of different levels. And it's really interesting because recently I was doing muscle ups and I tweaked my shoulder. And as soon as I went into the bed, I could feel the waves of energy actually scanning both of my shoulders. And the light was being pulled into the cellular structure of every single cell, and I was watching it. The waves were going backwards, the waves were going forwards, the waves were going in, the waves were going out, and I was watching the waves recode me. And as they were recoding me, you could feel the light coming into my central column, going up, pulling multiple levels of my architecture back down into my physical body and recoding, resynthesizing and realigning me. And it was a beautiful process. So this happened really quickly, and then it sent me on a journey. And I was out of my body, traveling. I went to a few different places and then came back again. And it felt like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And when they pulled me out of the bed, an hour had gone past, and I was like, wow, that was awesome. Yeah, it was an absolutely amazing experience. And next time I come to Stoner, I'm definitely coming back for another shot on the bed. It's beautiful.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tony Rodriguez, and I'm giving a testimony on what I experienced when I used something called the Cellwell. And I had met Arcturus Ra in Sedona at a conference that I was a speaker at. And we hit it off, and I think became friends almost immediately. And they invited me over to their home and showed me the Cellwell. And a few days later, I stopped in and saw it, and they invited me to use it, and it was very gracious, and I know that it's something that people wait in line to do. So I did, and I didn't have any kind of expectations of what was going to happen. I'm somebody that really promotes meditation and various techniques of it, as well as things that you can do as a result of meditating in a deep way. And I've been able to change my own life for the better. And so, of course, I was all for it. And I hopped in there and began to just relax and meditate. And I immediately felt like a calm, but it was something very unexpected. I am not somebody that does any sort of projection or meditates and goes and sees things. Usually I meditate and then I go and do what I set out to do. So I meditate as a precursor to tasks that I set out. This was completely different. It seemed to gain momentum as I got into a more relaxed state of mind, and I began to see things. I traveled, I saw other places, I saw electricity coming out of me and the Cellwell. I saw a vision of a pillar of energy coming from it. I saw ET faces that would pop up and almost looked like Arcturus. I saw places that I have written about in my books that I have always wanted to remember in more detail, and I went there immediately and saw them. I saw it looked like very live events that were happening. it seemed like a fast connection to what everybody wants to get to after a period of meditation, theta. I felt parts in my body that were sore. I felt areas in my body that were that I didn't know were sore or hurt, and it made me very aware of that. I was only in it for I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that, 30 minutes, and it was a very profound experience. When I got out, I was dizzy, I was very disoriented, and I felt like I'd traveled a great deal. So as far as I'm concerned, there's a very real technology there that is very, very effective at amplifying your consciousness and what you're going to do with it. And everybody has a different gift and everybody has a different purpose. So I'm sure it manifests in different ways when you're talking about consciousness. And so I hope to go back to Sedona this year, and I would love to take another trip in the Cellwell, and this time I'll be a little bit more prepared for what to expect, because I was caught off guard by how effective it really was. So they've asked me to make this testimonial, and I just love you guys, and carry on, keep up the good work. And to anybody watching this, the Cellwell is the real deal. It is definitely something that an adept person can use to discover information that they need to. And I'm trying to be as vague as I can, because like I said, everybody has their own purpose. But this is a very real technology, very good thing he's built. So thanks so much, and see you guys later.
Okay, so here's a starseed that I met on this hike. I call her Commander Z, and I want you to first share me your first experience with the medbed in LA that you had. You're laying in a medbed.
Yeah.
So what happened to you? What did you experience? And sober.
Yeah, sober, definitely. I was drawn, first of all, to the medbed, and just a calling to the medbed.
Yeah.
Once I went into the medbed, my intention, first of all, was to meet my galactic family.
Okay.
And once I was in, within seconds, I was taken into, I just shot into what looked like a ship, inside of a ship. And as I look at, I'm looking at what it is that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And it's this beautiful, tight skin, bluish, just uniform. And then I'm looking at my surroundings, and there is what I look like to be a council.
Yeah.
And I was welcomed by them, so that was really beautiful. And then all of a sudden, to my left, there you are. There you are in full gear, like I am, and the sensation of that we worked together in Earth came to me, and also the sensation of like brother sister like connection is there, and it made a lot of sense, because without the med bed we had a little bit of a brotherly sisterly kind of
like we had a rough start.
We had a little bit of a rough start.
It was like we were like, how do you say it, cognitive dissonance. Like she was saying something, I'm like, she was, it was like, I was like, where is that person? Who's that person? Why is that person even talking to me?
Yeah.
But then we figured out, okay, conditioning comes in a way. I call it the mindkinism.
Yeah.
Preconceived notions of what and who and why and blah.
Sure.
So my question to you is, see, with the medbed, and the people have the experience also for healing, how do you integrate that in life?
Yeah.
That you have extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, maybe even ultra-dimensional contact.
Yeah.
You have your experience with people that don't understand where you're coming from. Like I have to explain to people, this is not commercial, this is not rehearsed or trained or Hollywood or script. It's we're coming in right now, we're coming in with the experience, and it's like, okay, breaks are off. Okay, what do you do with your life?
Yeah. One of the biggest things for integration, something like that happening, because I've been in the bed 2 other times.
Yeah.
And I will say that the last time was about healing.
Okay.
And for me, that was I think the most profound in the healing aspect.
Yeah.
The other ones gave me more answers for my galactic self. But the healing aspect really kind of helped. I mean, you feel it in your waves of energy, go through you. And for me, I'm feeling more and more in tune with myself, and actually more and more at peace with where the avatar that I am, and being able to hike and connect even further into my body. So to me, that's how I've integrated. But it's more of a sensation. It's like you have to you have to try it. You have to try it before to really understand the kind of, for me, resonance is a big deal, and so vibration is a big deal, and I'm very sensitive to it, and maybe that's why I just felt it maybe super quick. I'm not sure, but I know other people that I've talked with, they feel just a peace or a kind of like a wave sensation. I also get a lot of visuals too. I got a lot of visuals of mandalas. These beautiful, beautiful mandalas just kept coming.
Hi, I'm just out of a Cellwell session for 1 hour, and it went pretty well. I felt the energy starting from the toes, to the knees, to the stomach area, to the shoulder, until the top of the head. It's like my chakra was getting realigned. I also received the acknowledgement of the DNA activation. This is something I knew was supposed to happen. I didn't know how, but today I received the confirmation it was happening when I was in the Cellwell. It was really gentle. It was surrounding me and putting me in a space of trust and confidence and love. I think I went to astral projection in a very gentle and guided way, and then I went back to the body with that feeling of strength and commitment to myself, to the healing in the body. I recommend anyone who are feeling the call to such treatment to go and to be there in the process, and keeping in mind it's really gentle and powerful at the same time.
What was your experience in the Cellwell?
Well, I've been in it twice, but I was in it the longest, most recently for, must have been it felt like an hour. And it's interesting because I feel very close to you after having been in there for so long. And I feel like Ra's beingness is infused in the Cellwell. And I was realizing that while I was sitting over there listening to you talk and looking at you. And my experience was very profound. I went in there not really feeling great physically, feeling really exhausted and just not my usual energetic self. And I have to say, after I've come out the way I feel now, I feel so filled with energy and a lightness of being. I feel like my cells are just sort of more expanded. I'm holding more light, and I feel like I'm more in touch with my galactic self. My humanness just feels like it's moved to the side more, and a lot of joy. I feel really, really filled with balance and bliss. It was an amazing experience.
Hi, my name's Elaine Marilakos Edelson, and I'm a transformational astrologer and energy worker. I'm a very practical person as well, and I've spent 40 years doing the work that I do, plus studying neuroscience. And I've been on a healing journey for a pretty major type of health issue, and am recovering beautifully. And I just did a Cellwell pod session for 30 minutes, and I have to say I went to heaven and stayed in my body. It used, I mean, you can get the details, but it uses photon and scalar waves. And I've been around the block. I've tried many different modalities out there, and this one is the real deal. Literally, it felt like my soul was being massaged, and I felt so much love. At first, everyone will have their own experience, of course, but at first I felt like things were bubbling up, and then it felt all knotted and crazy, and then suddenly it settled. And the peace that I felt and the love that I felt, I knew that I was vibrating at a higher frequency. And that really interests me. And then when it was over, I had a lot of energy. And typically I nap in the afternoon for about 30 minutes while I meditate. And I had zero need to do that. I still meditated, but I wasn't tired. And I even went all the way through to 11 o'clock reading. It was amazing. So I actually bought a package so that I could continue the healing work, knowing that, I mean, I understand inflammation, diet, exercise, but also mindset. So it's a combination of body, mind, energy work so that the spirit can come through. And I'm very practical with this. So when I try something and it works, I want everybody to know about it. Literally, this is the wave of the future. And this Cellwell pod that I experienced is something that I'm going to be telling all my friends and even my doctor, because I know she's going to want to try it. So I hope you do too. Thanks.
Hey everybody, so I just wanted to make this video and testimonial about the Cellwell and my experience with it. I did the Cellwell, I think it was a 30-minute session. I believe it was 30 or 20 minutes. And for me, it was a really, really profound thing, a very powerful, profound experience. So first, let me give you some background on me and why it was a profound experience for me. I'm a student of Dr. Joe's and I'm a daily meditator, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm a daily meditator. And so I am used to tuning into the vibrations in the field around me and connecting with non-physical energies, or just, you know, the energy centers and really space and the energy within space, around you in space, and, you know, tuning into the what we call the third eye or the sixth energy center, the pineal gland. And it's a practice, right? And so the more I've practiced throughout the years, I've really been able to get into greater alignment and in tune with feeling what we call metaphysical energies, or these subtle energies that normally we don't experience on an everyday basis because our attention is so focused in the physical. So with that being said, I would just like to say, you know, when I got into this Cellwell, and it's kind of like a tanning bed that has been modified. And you know, it's got a lot of torsion fields within it and different things like that, magnetics. There's a lot going on within there. I'm just gonna let you know my experience with it. So what happened is, even I was probably the third or fourth one in our group that was experiencing it, and you know, everyone was going into it and having different experiences with it. Some people were feeling really calm and steady. Some people were feeling the energies a bit more. Well, for me, I was the last one to go into it, and I kind of saw everybody else go into it, but and while they were into it, we were all off in another kind of room, just having great conversation about different things. And I saw that some people had some pretty good experiences, but it did not prepare me for what I was about to feel. And you know, it actually really surprised me how well it attuned me and my field and my awareness to experience these non-physical realms, or these metaphysical, beyond physical realms. So I sat into the bed, and you know, they put the lid down. The second I laid down in that thing and the lid was down, God, my pineal gland right here in my forehead was tingling so hard. Literally, it was like someone was rubbing a feather. It was a very physical sensation, but also a very energetic buzzing sensation at the same time. And I felt it really, really powerfully. And it was almost overwhelming, to be honest. Like, it was so strong that I couldn't ignore it if I wanted to. And but knowing, experiencing this before through deep meditations and through pineal gland meditations with Dr. Joe Dispenza and other things like this, I knew it was happening, and I knew my third eye or sixth energy center was activated and awakened. And I know when that happens, it's a very powerful thing, and you can do a lot with it, right? So what I did is I just tuned in. I was being present, right? So much of meditation is just being present with the energies around you, stopping the analytical monkey mind from talking and just being present. And the sensation of my pineal gland activating was so strong and so present that I couldn't ignore it if I wanted to. So I just leaned into it. I tuned in, and I felt that gland and that energy center, that vortex of energy, and I just felt it expanding and growing. And I was getting a lot of visions that were popping up with it, you know, short visions here and there, and different things that were coming up with it. And my body, because I'm feeling my third eye, my sixth energy center, and just feeling, you know, my body and being present with non-physical energies in my energy field. Really what I was doing is I was being present with my field around me, my auric field, or whatever you want to call that, you know, your Merkaba. And I could feel it so strongly. And what happens with me when I really start tuning into my field is my body kind of goes numb, like you know, like when you sit on your leg and it goes to sleep. It kind of feels like that because your attention's off of your body. So my body kind of goes numb. And I also felt like I got really tall. And this happens to me a lot in meditations when I'm really locked in and I really focus and nail it and be present and focus on the field rather than my body, because obviously the field is bigger than your body. And so when you tune in and you feel that, and you're feeling your light body or your other body, you tune in and you feel bigger. I feel bigger, at least that's my experience of it. I feel taller. So I remember feeling like I was 9 feet tall in that tanning bed there. And I just remember how intense the sensations were and intense the feelings were. It amplified it to a level where I couldn't ignore it. And it was really cool, actually. Super profound for me. Like really, really, it just took the practice to, you know, a level that was easy. It was easy for me. And really awesome, amazing things happened because of that. And so I just leaned into it. You know, I think it was either a 20 or 30 minute session, and I just felt the feelings. I had some emotion come up, not too much, but a lot of visions that came up with it. And I just, you know, paid attention to the visions, but at the same time didn't latch onto them. I'd let the vision happen, and then I'd kind of let it go and stay present with my body and stay present with the energy field in my sixth energy center. And just I knew that something was happening up there in the sixth energy center. I don't know exactly what it was. I knew it was activating. I knew there was something big going on, and I stayed with it the whole 20 minutes, whole 30 minutes. And when I was done, I remember sitting up, you know, to get out, and man, my body was so vibrationally attuned and everything that I remember I had to sit down for a second and drink some water, and I wasn't even fully like back aware, you know, because it was so strong. It was so sensationally strong that I knew that it did something really amazing. So that was my experience with it, and it was awesome. It was really amazing, and I plan to do more in the future with it. And I think it's a tool that can help amplify. It can amplify a lot of things for you. It can help put things into order, and I believe in it. You know, that's my story with it, and I hope that helps you.
Hi, my name's Jill, and I had an experience in the Cellwell healing bed. And I have tried other healing beds before and felt a little bit of a vortex and a shift, but nothing major. But when I was in the Cellwell, some deep-seated trauma came up to be healed and transmuted and started to get released while I was in there. And I could really, really feel the energy vortex of it. Also, I tried it at a time that 3 other people were there trying it. One of the women had the Kundalini energy moving up her spine while she was in there, but also after. So it was awakening her energetic Kundalini. And the 2 other people also had pretty profound healing experiences. Both were very different, as it tunes into your energy field and will bring up what is causing any form of disease or energy blockage that's stopping you from manifesting. So I just want to say it was an amazing experience. I do not live in Sedona, but I will definitely be back and definitely be booking more sessions in the Cellwell, because I could feel the healing taking place on a visceral level. And I actually started crying when I was in there because of what was coming up to get released, which was causing a lot of pain in my body and blockages. So highly recommend it. It was the most powerful healing bed I've ever been in up to this point.
Yeah, for the Cellwell experience, don't hold back. I mean, go as crazy as whatever you have experienced. I don't know, you've been 2 times?
I've been once.
Okay, once. So give me your experience of what you felt without me suggesting anything. Maybe I have to learn, okay, it can do that as well. So
yes, so I had the amazing experience of the Cellwell last week, and as soon as I went into it, I felt vibration that turned into sound. So I was hearing a lot of tones in my ears that were moving, and then I felt as if it was scanning, just like scanning my whole energy field. And then I started to feel warmth, and the warmth ended up, and I said to the Cellwell, I said, I am open for any kind of healing that's needed inside of me, or any balancing. And I felt heat in two of the places in my body where I'd had pain. So in my shoulder and in my thumb. And then the next thing I remember is having a total experience of being on a craft, in a room that had these translucent walls, and the colors were just moving translucently through the walls, no angles. And I was it felt like a crystalline bed, but it was the Cellwell in this place. And there were all these beings around. And I recognized a couple of them as incarnations of myself. And that kind of blew me away. And they had their hands on me. And then I sort of went out after that. I went out, and then I remember coming back into my body and feeling this amazing integration. And then today we walked in again, and I felt the Cellwell as a being that was starting to entrain again. And it was like, oh, there it is. And it's starting to kind of work on those places that were open before inside of me. And it felt like tingling a vibration today. It's pretty wild. And I feel like since last week, I've had more remembrances of some of my cosmic beingness.
So energetically, like, you needed less sleep, you felt energized, or more?
I felt energized, and these places, these physical places inside of me have felt healed. And that's what I can say about it. I felt healed, but I felt more in connection with my galactic cosmic origin. In a very profound way that's awakening more memories and more inside of me.
So I am Eolia, and so Raj just finished the Cellwell at the time that he was building up in my garage, and I wanted to experience it. And at that time I had a very strong pain on my left elbow, and when I first lay in there, what happened is that I saw an ET face, like very quick, like split second. I saw an ET face, and then I proceed by closing my eyes and relax and let the technology, the energy works of the magnets, the negative ions, the tachyons, the intrascalar waves. That the combination of all those energy creates its own energetics. And so I just trusted the experience, not knowing how I would feel. So what happened is, like, within 2-3 minutes in, I felt a very, very strong pull out of my left elbow. Actually, it was excruciating pain. However, I knew that it's actually the energy working through my body to heal it. So I just went with it. So my first experience was 1 hour laying in the Cellwell, and I was mostly feeling the energy throughout my entire body, and especially my left elbow. And then towards the end, it was more as if the energy was traveling towards my weak point in my body, and I started having pain where they were. And after that, I fell into a deep sleep, and I woke up after an hour. I put the alarm on to make sure that it was an hour. So it was an interesting experience. And since then, I have experimented with many people coming through I wanted to give them an experience of the Cellwell. And what I have found out is that each one of us are different. Each one is responding according to what they need at the time and what their body is, the way their body talks to them. So everybody is unique, and no one have ever the same experience. And also what I have found out is that depending on how you've been raised, programmed in society ways, spiritual ways, your response with the Cellwell will be different. And also what I have found out is that the Cellwell has its own intelligence, and it will give you exactly what you need at the moment that you are going in. So some people, when they need, for instance, deep sleep because they cannot sleep, the first thing that happens to them is they're going to a deep sleep. And then when they come out of it, they're like super energized and happy, and they can function.
Hey guys, I'm Gregory. A little while back, I had the pleasure, while visiting Sedona, Arizona, to do a session in the Cellwell. And I didn't really know what to expect. I've heard a lot about med beds and so on and so forth. So I went in a bit skeptical, but at the beginning of the year, I had some issues as far as prostate and so on and so forth. And at the time that I did my session in the Cellwell, I was actually having some daily pain in the area of my abdomen where my pancreas is. So when I got into the Cellwell, at first I just kind of felt like a vibration throughout my whole body. But then what I noticed is that I would feel it in very specific areas of my body. And as the session continued, I felt like I was absolutely floating in just nothing, like out there in nothingness. And I had no concept of how much time had passed or anything like that. And I just would feel like this vibration show up in different parts of my body, areas that I know that I had had pain recently, or maybe an injury or something like that. So it was fascinating for me. When the session was over and when I got out, what I noticed right away is that the pain that was in the area of the pancreas was completely gone. I definitely felt like I was kind of sort of like noodle legs or something like that. Like almost very lightweight when I got out of the session. The pain in that area of my abdomen did not come back. I wish I was a little closer. I'm from Maryland, or else I would go do other sessions. So if you are anywhere around, or if you have the opportunity, I would say definitely check it out, because I don't fully understand the workings of it, but I can tell you that my results were very good. Thanks, guys.
When I went in today, I see out of two different eyes. I have, both my eyes don't see together, so I can use either eye I want. I only explain that because when I got in the cell bed and I looked up at the glass and I felt this amazing energy. The eye I was using happened to be my left eye at the moment. Looked at the right eye, and it was Azar's. And it was profound. And I saw him looking at me with such love. It was almost like my right eye turned into Cesar's, and I looked through my left eye, and I could see in the reflection his eye. And so I felt there was some kind of merge that I had the beautiful experience of in the cell bed. And so given that, and it took me a little while to adjust to having his eye see and merge with me. And then it felt like the energy of the cell bed. I closed my eyes so Marilyn could have an experience, me. And the energy began to speak to my higher self. And there was this communion going on with the energy of the cell bed and my higher self. And they were like a committee deciding how best this energy would be used today. And so then I felt the flood of both coming into me. And I realized the brilliance of the Cellwell is that it is always speaking to the higher self of whoever is in there. So it's not like it's taking control over anybody, but rather working in tandem to the highest consciousness of the person in the bed, whether they're aware or not. And in that tandem work, deciding what is actually best in that moment, whether it's body, whether it's for your heart, soul work, or mind work. And then in that moment, I felt much the same, that human part of me absolutely faded. And my galactic self felt more informed than I think I've ever felt it. I was so informed in my galactic self, and I knew in that moment that as I could achieve that experience, that feeling state with my merging of my galactic self, that everything would fall out of that for my human self. And then my body felt absolutely healed. My mind state was so clear, and my heart felt so much of your love.
That is what it is. I mean, every little detail I worked on this thing, and every last minute is bleeding my love into it.
I could feel it. And you know what is so amazing, Ra, is that Cesar came into it. So whatever is going on in there, to see his eye and to feel his presence within it was really profound for me.
Hello everyone, my name is Jerome, and this testimonial video is for the Cellwell medbed. I want to talk about my experience that I had while I was in the medbed. First of all, when I laid inside of it and the top went down, I was a little skeptical because I do a lot of work in the quantum, and I wasn't sure what I was going to expect from this 5D technology. And so as I was laying there, I was keeping an open mind, and I set my intentions, and after a few moments, I started feeling an energetic buzzing that started in my feet, and then from there it started working up through my knees, and then once it hit my root chakra, it intensified, and then my consciousness was transported, and I was up on a light ship, and up on this light ship I came in contact with, I think they were versions of myself, but they were definitely these galactic beings, and they were showing me different aspects of myself that were sort of stuck in different parallel timelines. They were soul aspects of myself that were harvested and put into different bodies or different timelines. I remember seeing two specific timelines, one of which I was in a secret space program that was similar to like the movie Avatar, where my consciousness was being used to operate this technology on a different light system in these ET bodies for some mission. And so it showed me that timeline where I was being used there. and I was able to be disconnected from that and reintegrate that aspect of myself. Another aspect of myself that it showed me was me in a super soldier program where my consciousness was a part of this program where I was genetically modified. It sort of felt like Wolverine in the movie X-Men, where I was had all these heightened abilities and I was being used as a weapon, sort of. And in that timeline, I was seeing a partial escape from a laboratory and being recaptured, and I was seeing that this was happening over and over, and it sort of showed me the different timelines. And again, the beings were able to unhook me from this timeline and then reintegrate that soul aspect of myself back into me. And after going through this couple of times, after the integration, I felt buzzing, and I felt like I was full of light. And then it's interesting because right when they finished, I told them that I was finished, and then it was time for me to come out of the medbed. And it was a really interesting experience. I recommend it to anybody that wants to try this type of healing technology. This 5D technology definitely works. And like I said, being a light worker and working in this field, I'm always skeptical when I try new things, but I was very, very surprised, and it was a pleasant surprise. So I recommend this technology for anybody. Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is Donna McGrath, and I just wanted to tell everyone that the healing pod, the Cellwell healing pod that I laid in last year when I was here at the expo, is absolutely phenomenal. I had broken my ankle and I laid in it, and in 8 minutes it totally relieved the pain, and it was just wonderful. I recommend everybody to use it and to experience it, because it raises your whole bodily vibration, so as disease won't be able to form, and it is a healing, truly amazing healing technology.